welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, Vanessa Léon, CEO of Pinchina. She'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. And like I said, I have a very special guest for you. Very excited to introduce Vanessa Léon, who's the CEO of Pinchina. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have you here. We love to have women who are doing their thing come on the program, and definitely you are one of those people. Matter of fact, actually, it took so long to book her to get you on the program. A little bit of a backstory. You know, this was supposed to happen in 2017.
It was.
And so busy, and everyone's schedule, a little bit of schedule conflicts. But fast forward, we are here.
We are here. And I have a good reason for why it took so long.
2018,
so we'll talk about it.
Let's get into it. So kind of give us a little bit of a background. First and foremost, what is Pinchina?
So, Pinchina Consulting, we're an international urban planning firm providing urban planning, community outreach and engagement, and public policy services, both here in New York as well as in Haiti. Our first two offerings, our urban planning and community outreach and engagement, happens primarily in New York, and our public policy focus happens almost exclusively in Haiti, with some outreach and engagement as well.
That is a lot when you think about it, because it goes pretty deep.
It does. It really does.
You're taking something that, of course, New York is like, aside from South Florida, a big hub for the Haitian community. So to have you here doing that is really good. You're able to kind of bridge that gap between New York and Haiti, or America and Haiti. So kudos for that. But the name, I love the name, but what does the name mean?
That's the one question I love being asked. So Pinchina, originally it has a silent T that I dropped to help the non-French speaking population pronounce it better, because Pinchina would have just gotten under my skin. But the meaning behind Pinchina is that it's my mother and my grandmother's maiden name. Pinchina is also one of the revolutionaries in the Haitian Revolution that made Haiti the first Black republic in the world. And after the earthquake, the name Pinchina was given to one of the largest internally displaced people's camps in the southern city of Jacmel. And so for me, the personal, the historical, and the quake is the reason why we founded the company in the first place. Made it the most fitting name for the work that we do and what we aspire to do in communities moving forward.
Okay, so there is very deep meaning to that, which is great, because it's so beautifully sound. If you speak French, you can pronounce it properly.
I hear all kinds of things.
It sounds so much better than how I was doing it. But, it sounds great. So that means you founded the company back in 2010.
Well, unofficially in 2010, took a year to just figure out what was going on, and how to best respond to what had just happened to us. But officially, the company I founded it in 2011, September 2011.
So let's take it back to that day when everyone was getting the news.
Rewind. The moment where you'll never forget where you were and what you were doing the minute you found out about it.
I actually remember I had just finished doing another shoot. I was living in the Bronx at the time, on my way back home, and keep hearing about this earthquake. And everyone's giving you a different version of how much the Richter scale was. Wasn't until I got inside and I really saw it, I was like, wow,
what just happened?
This is really just what happened.
Yeah.
To Haiti. And if anyone could even have any sense of, I don't even know what the right term is, but I guess awareness. If it could happen, don't just be, oh, it happened to them. No, because we all are in the Caribbean Sea. That could have been any island.
Well, and 7.0 earthquakes happen all over the world all the time. What changed what was different in our circumstance was the extent of the devastation and the aftermath. But where was I? You know, at the time, I was just about to start my final semester of grad school in urban planning at NYU. Had never a day in my life thought about doing anything international prior. When I started my program, ironically, I had ran into this African gentleman, so this was like in 2008, and telling him, oh, I'm going to do urban planning, this and that. And he's like, oh, yeah, you should think about Africa, you should do this. I'm like, yeah, that's really nice, but I'm quite happy with the United States. You know, I focused on like low-income minority communities in the U.S. My specialization was economic development and housing policy. And so just to not make the story too long, but the day after the quake, I was studying for the Presidential Management Fellowship. And it's this like 1 or 2 year fellowship where you work in DC government, do different agencies, whatever have you. And I took a study break. I went to NYU for my master's, New York University, the Wagner School of Public Service. And I took a break. In the library, there's this like big screen that plays CNN like all day long. And so I'm like, you know, gonna just have a quick bite, go back to studying, and it just flashes across the screen, you know, 7.0 earthquake strikes Haiti. I remember just screaming because my dad was in Haiti at the time. And so the whole like library looked at me and I just like grabbed my things and my head was just spinning, and I ran across the street to like Washington Square Park, and I was calling my sister, calling everybody, like, turn on the news, you know, earthquake Haiti. And a lot of the rest of it was a blur. I know it took like about 2 or 3 days to find out that my dad was okay and he's a U.S. citizen. And so, you know, he was able to like fly out on like a Air Force plane or something like that. We lost one family member, my cousin, 6 days shy of her 21st birthday, was a university student, and we lost her. And the crazy thing is that in the quake, she was on her way to class, and my dad was the last person to speak to her. And the crazy thing is that Tuesday, he was supposed to go visit her, and decided he was going to go to Wednesday. So their last conversation was like, oh, I'll come see you tomorrow on campus, you know, you'll take me around, whatever have you. And you know, that's what happened. So the fact that he even had that feeling that day to just not go.
He could have been
very much so
caught in that.
So, yeah, it was a lot to figure out. And like I said, I never thought about anything international prior to that moment. But here I was, all of a sudden, that 35-second incident made me a Haitian-American urban planner, a term that I never thought I'd use to describe myself or have to use to describe myself. I'm in a profession that's 2% Black in the whole country. So, you know, the whole U.S. of A. And so within that 2%, who's going to be Haitian, who's going to be Creole speaking, who's going to have a passion to want to do something?
It's even, you just
me and a handful of people. Like, I know the rest of us for the most part. I mean, there are some that I don't, but the numbers are not big. And so, whereas some people can say they went into business like, oh, I always wanted to do this, or I had a passion and, you know, this was my thing. For me, it found me. You know, duty called, and I decided to answer.
That is amazing. And then, you know, you've been doing it ever since. So from 2011 to now, it's been, like you said, back and forth. You do several trips a year to Haiti.
Yeah, just about at least 3 to 4 times a year, 2 weeks at a time. I've had times being there a bit longer. I had a consultancy with the government 3 years ago, so I lived there for about a 2-month stretch. But yeah, I'm back and forth quite a bit.
And then describe your first trip going, because you've obviously went to Haiti, visited before.
Actually, no.
You've never been before.
I'm the first person in my family born in the United States. So I like to, first person in my immediate family, so I like to claim the fact that I started the legacy of Haitian hyphenated Americans. But I did not grow up going to Haiti, unlike a lot of my Haitian peers or even my siblings. All of my siblings got to see pre-quake Haiti. And that was so hard for me personally with the quake, because I felt like a part of my very identity had been robbed from me. And there's nothing that I can do to get it back. Like, I'll never be able to see, you know, what the Haitian White House was before, the Haitian Palace, or like certain sites that my parents would talk about throughout my childhood. And I just felt an emptiness for a long time. But my first time in Haiti actually was a year, almost 2 years after the quake, in December 2011. For me...
Well, hold that thought.
Okay.
We are going to take a quick break. I definitely want to hear that story. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel here with Vanessa Léon. So, Vanessa, you're just about to tell me about your very first trip to Haiti, which actually happened after the earthquake.
After the earthquake.
You have no real vivid memories
at all, besides
Haiti.
Everyone else's stories that I heard growing up as a kid. Edwidge Junticat in her books, I feel like, took me to Haiti long before I physically, went there. But my first time ever was in December 2011 through a work experience I had at the time that ended up being interesting, but I learned a lot from it. And, why didn't I hop on a plane like February 2010 or anything, like immediately after? Because as a planner, for me, my job kind of starts when the cameras go away and the buzz dies down, right? So I don't do relief work, never did, never will. I'm just not even cut out for it, and it's important. But once the immediate situation sort of stabilizes itself, my job starts at the and then what? How do we ensure that, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, Haiti still isn't in need of, basic medical supplies or water or, clothes or whatever it is, and we're talking more about long-term sustainability. We're talking about institutional development. We're talking about creating opportunities for people to make their own livelihoods, which is really what people want. And so it made sense for me to wait to go back and to try to get a better sense of the land and how urban planning is happening or how it could be happening differently, and things like that. So it was a very eye-opening, wonderful moment. I felt home. I felt like it made sense. I felt like this part of me that I've been trying to figure out my whole life, here it is. I was able to connect with people, and people were blown away that here I was, American born, but I spoke the language, I knew the food, I knew the culture to some extent. There's a lot that I'm still learning. But yeah, it was a treat. It was a treat to go back and to kind of feel like I was being of service in some way.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about urban planning overall, because some people still have a skewed image or their own kind of definition of what urban planning is. So what is urban planning?
So it's some of what I hinted at, right? Urban planning is taking into consideration where a community, a place, a society is today, and forecasting, coming up with a vision and action plan for where we want it to be, where it can be, down the line. And so, things that are important to us as planners, demographics matter in the sense that if I'm in this neighborhood and, for example, today there's a sizable population of families with kids, elementary school kids. Well, 5, 10, 15 years from now, that means we're going to need middle schools, we're going to need high schools, we're going to need recreational activities, we're going to need things to cater to this population that might be 5, 6, 7 now, but they won't always be, right? So how in our planning as a society, as a community, do we start to put in the infrastructure, the mechanisms, the policies that we'll need to ensure that we're able to guide current and future growth and development?
And how does that tie into the financial part of it? Because, of course, you could plan everything that you want, but things don't get done unless funds are being released. So how do you lobby for that?
And so that's the interesting thing about planning too, right? Because in a typical context, so I gave a very U.S.-based example. I assumed there were demographics. I assume we knew, what we're dealing with and that we can, track it. But a lot of times planning often happens and should happen at the local government level. So it's a very institutional thing. The challenge, and it's funny because if I knew then what I know now, I never would have started an urban planning company to work in Haiti. And it's not that planning doesn't happen or shouldn't, but you have to understand the institutional context within which it does or doesn't happen. And without that understanding, a lot of mistakes happen. And yeah, I've seen some. I've averted others. But, when you talk about financing, these are things that should typically be in a local government budget. Or, you have different programs where the federal government will send a portion or a grant or whatever have you to the state that'll send it to the local. And there's a whole mechanism for it. A lot of times in a developing world context, the government either is unwilling or incapable of providing the basic services that it should provide. And so you have foreign entities, you have aid, you have nonprofits, you have well-meaning people that try to make up for that, sometimes with success, but oftentimes not always the most beneficial outcomes, unfortunately. So depending on the context you're talking about and the scale at which you're talking about, the financing question becomes a different beast, so to
And
speak.
of course, and then even again, still keeping on to the finances, do you ever have access, or would foreign companies ever pay the urban development company, or would you ever receive funds and then be able to allocate yourself, or who's like the middle person who would help make all that happen?
Well, again, I feel like this is a very like nuanced like conversation in a larger scale. Like I don't even know that I can answer that right now because every context is going to be so different. There's no one size fits all when it